Hey guys, this is Danette, Denise,
Stumpy.
We are on our way back home from a great weekend.
Yes.
We just, it was just a one-day little trip, right?
Yeah.
We went to Petals, their great fall garden
The sun is in your face, sister.
festival. It is, isn't it? This is hard to do, driving. Oh, I'm not driving, Stumpy's driving.
I was gonna say, don't let everybody make everybody think you're driving.
No, I'm not driving. But we went up yesterday and we had a class that we taught
Today.
on the fears of pressure canning. It was fun to be able to teach, how we preserve our food and some of the things that we've learned over the time. And so we wanted to share some clips from that.
Yes.
And we met so many new people. Mustard Seed Homesteading. If you get a chance, go check her channel out. Her testimony is she left Illinois, right, Stumpy?
I believe that's right, yes.
And moved
Chicago.
her family here to, it's kind of north central Alabama, I think is where she is from. And I just had a chance to peep at her channel. And it looks like it's going to be a great channel. So y'all go, just give her a little sub and a little thumbs up and let her know that we sent you. And help support her. Because her passion sounded like it was our passion, didn't it?
Well, she hadn't been long started her channel, and we know what it's like. I mean, we're not a huge channel by no stretch of the imagination, but we know what it was like starting out. And I know Cog Hill give us some shout outs and all that really jump started our channel and helped us get to our first 1,000 subscribers. And so we just want to pass the blessing on to somebody else. Right. She seemed like a fine Christian lady and just super appreciative of the canning class, and which everybody was. But anyway, we just want to give you a Mustard Seed Homestead, and I think that's it. And
we'll try to link it in the comments for you.
Yeah, we'll try to put it in the link down there. But we want to help anybody out we can help out. And we know what it was like when we first started our channel, and trying to build viewers and people to watch us, and we just want to help her out. So if you can give her a sub and watch some of her videos, that would be great. We would appreciate it, and I know she would.
Absolutely.
We usually try to get a lot of video when we're at these events. So you've seen our Petals from the Past videos before. This time particularly, there was a lot of weather, rain, that prevented us from getting out and doing much video. And so we don't have a lot of video of our event.
We do have a lot of pictures.
We do have a lot of pictures, and we did get to mingle with quite a few people. Got soaking wet in the process, but we had a good time and built relationships and friendships that of like-minded people that just we come to love a lot. And so we want you to follow us along in this video and see some of those great people, and follow us along on this little short, it's not going to be a very long video, short video of our trip to Petals from the Past, the great garden festival.
Yes.
Well, we have some video too of our class, and we'll be sharing some of that.
Absolutely.
Too, and I want to give one more shout out to Jason, him and his father that own Petals from the Past, and let them know that we appreciate them asking us and inviting us up to teach a class, and and let us know in the comments. We're just out from Dothan, Alabama. If you would be interested in coming to a canning class and learning how to can your food, just put us up down in the comments, and maybe that'd be something we could
do on the farm.
Do here, and have some people out to our house and help educate them
Absolutely.
on preserving food.
we like you said, we're very thankful for Petals for giving us the opportunity. That is our passion. We love teaching and educating people on the things that really is a dying art. Pressure canning is one of them. Processing your own meat was another. So we have taught classes on both. And
even you wouldn't think it, but I mean, really and truly, even cooking is a dying art.
It's a dying art, yeah. Yes. So, but we do appreciate y'all watching us today on this yucky rain, and we're ready to get home, get everything dried out, and yeah, I'm all stoked up in the back seat.
Sorry, we're about 8 miles away.
Yeah, we're not far. To get home. We're not far from home, but y'all enjoy the little slideshow with all of our friends and the new friends that we met,
and some we did miss because of the weather. But.
Yes, because it come a downpour, and so we missed a lot of people because of the rain. But we will see you next time, I'm sure. So.
And our second effort at achieving an educational goal is we host workshops and classes. And that's why I'm so excited about having a farm like Perry Hill Farms here today, who's going to be able to share with you what do you do when you've grown it and you've got it from the garden. How do you preserve that? How are you going to have it so that you can enjoy it throughout the remainder of the season? I think you are in for a big treat. I wanted to let Eric and Danette introduce themselves to give you more, but what I'm excited about is that they have a farm, and it's pretty doggone unique. Twin sisters buy 2 homesteads in southeast Alabama, and then build basically a homestead around it, where they're sharing with us, how do you grow this? How do you have success? And it's not just vegetables, it's meat, it's fruit, it's the whole 9 yards. And I'm so excited about them. This will be my first time to get to hear them speak as well. And I know for a fact that it is the twin sisters that are driving this bus. But Danette said that Stumpy is the expert when it comes to canning. And this I can relate to, because I think of grafting and budding with regard to fruit trees as a dying art, and what worries me is canning. I grew up learning about this from my grandparents, and I'm worried that this is a dying art, and we're hearing from so many folks that want to know how, and that's obviously why you are here. So I want to thank y'all for coming, and thank you so much for coming. And then I'm going to step out of the way and let you get the ball rolling.
So today, we're going to talk about facing the pressure, overcoming fears in pressure canning process. And I know if you're like me, I was terrified of the pressure canner when initially it was Stumpy's love for gardening and canning that got us interested in learning how to preserve and harvest. Like I said, I was terrified of the pressure canner. I was horrified. And so I think his dad gave him the passion for preserving and making sure food was in the garden and stuff like that. So it just kind of leaked down to us. Of course, we can't. So what are some things that are needed for your pressure canner? Our all-time favorite, we didn't start with this canner, is the All-American canner. And Stumpy will go into detail about all the little gadgets on it. It is your most pricey, probably, canner, but it's like an investment. It truly is. You can't go wrong with it. Jars, we buy our jars from the jar store in bulk, or you can buy them at any retailer. These jars have been the best for us because when we get them, they're not chipped. For those of you who try to guess what this is a rabbit. So we have rabbits on our farm, and so this is how Stumpy will debone our rabbit and can it. It doesn't look pretty, but who's opened up a real can of meat from the store and it looks pretty? It doesn't look pretty.
You know, I want you to be confident when you leave here. Okay, I can do this. You know, and it's very simple. It's not rocket science. And I do want to take just a minute and talk about how many of you ever canned anything. Gotcha. All right. But when the big C or the stick came along, you know, and I went down to the grocery store, and there was about 4 or 5 people standing outside, and she said, "You go out and wait. We'll let you a few in at a time, and you get a few items and you need to get back out." And that's what really took me to the next level. I'm like, wait a minute. I should be better prepared than this. I like to garden. We've been gardening and all those things. But, you know, it was that point in time when I realized I need to up my game. Just simply because there's a lot of reasons for doing your own food. I mentioned one a while ago, taste, you know, but really and truly, that's when I became really inspired to, had been canning a lot of my life, gardening and all. My dad taught me, you know, he, back he was born in 37, you know, and in the 50s and all, you know, he was like, you know, we didn't worry about what we had to eat. We worried about if we had something to eat. And so, but anyway, we appreciate Jason letting us come out today and speak and talk, you know, raise all these fruits and stuff and vegetables. You want to know how to preserve them. And canning is so simple, y'all. I'm going to keep it really simple. You know, she talked about the canner, you know, and don't be afraid of this thing. You know, the ones they built, you know, 50, 75 years ago didn't have no pressure valve or anything to let pressure off of it. Yeah, you could probably be a little afraid of that. But this pressure canner, and, you know, like the Presto she had up there, you know, that's what these are for. These are to protect you. Let me just deal with these two right here first, okay? When you're canning something, you want to put your jars in here and bring it up to steam where this is blowing steam out. And you do that for 10 minutes, okay? And what that does is draws the air out of your jar and it allows it to take vacuum, okay? So it's very important not to skip that step or minimize that step, go less than, you know, the required time. This right here is your pressure gauge. And what it tells you when it gets up to pressure. You know, when it gets up to 11 pounds, roughly, you know, it depends on what you're canning on. If you're on a wood stove, it's going to be a little jumpy. But, you know, if you're on a gas stove or electric stove, whatever, it's not. But really, This switch is really not necessary, in my opinion. You know, because when this thing jiggles, it will not jiggle until it gets to 11 pounds. And so when it does that first jiggle, you know you're there. Well, if it's just sitting there rattling, it's too hot, turn it down a little bit. You want it to jiggle a little bit and stop, jiggle a little bit and stop, you know. I'll also tell you something too. A lot of people wonder and ask me about how much water do I put in there? About 2 inches. It's the steam that does the canning, not the water. You don't need to cover it. You don't need to submerge it like you do when you're water bathing something. And this right here it's not used to do any preservation. It's just used to make the jar seal. 5 minutes is not going to do anything. You know, when you put something under pressure, you can turn your stove wide open, and this water in this canner is not going to get to 212 degrees boiling. Right? You put it under pressure, it goes up to 250 degrees. You do it for the amount of time that's recommended, then you bring that temperature to the middle of the jar, which kills any harmful bacteria that, you know, that might cause you to get sick. All the ring does is hold the lid in place. Does that make sense? It just holds it down on the jar. Because when you allow it to cool and all, it's going to suck down and seal. Then I always take, you see, you don't see a ring on these. I always take my rings off. Because you put a splash of vinegar in your water to keep your jars nice and clean. The vinegar can cause your metal to rust. And so if you got it on there and it gets some water and vinegar in there, that could rust and compromise your seal. It's very important to follow these steps, that your jar is sealed right. In other words, in the vent during your canning time, just say a limb fell on the power line, your power went out. If this drops below 10 pounds of pressure, you got to start all over with your process. So you want to keep it above 10 all the time. I use it at around 11, 12. It's not going to hurt it to 15 if you're trying to get your stove adjusted, you know.
And where you were located, like for you in Michigan, you might be at a higher sea level. So wherever you are, you know, your weighted gauge is going to have to be more. And he could show you on the weighted gauge. It has different holes.
Yeah, it comes, you can see it has 3 holes, 5, 10, and 15 pounds of pressure. And so for around here, it's 10 pounds. After it steams 10 minutes, put that on there. After it blows steam for 10 minutes, you got all the air out of your jar. And now you're ready to go to the next step. You put this on there and don't be afraid. It just takes just literally like that, even though it's blowing steam out. You know, and like I said, when it comes up to 10 pounds of pressure, it's going to start doing that right there. Now, different things require different times. Okay, meat's probably going to be your longest. I think pints are 75 minutes. And all of these are in the ball blue book. You know, I have to look all the time because times will be a little different on just about every one of them.
Plus the size of the jar.
Yeah, green beans are I think one of the quicker ones. That and stock, like chicken stock. Isn't that pretty? God, I raise those chickens. See? I mean, that's the difference. I could probably make 20 jars that you buy in the store. You know, fill them all up with water and come along there with about a teaspoon. That's probably what they do. You know, and like I said, I talked about earlier, I don't know who all was in here, but I talked about this bag of peas. It's $40. You know, they'll make about 10 pints. That's $4 a jar. But if it feeds 3 or 4 people, that's $4. You got $1.25 in a side for somebody as you're building your meal. I planted some peas myself. Here's the gardening tip. You know, I had about $20 worth of seed and fertilizer. You know, it made 14 5-gallon buckets, which is 7 of these. $280 worth if you buy them, $20 if you grow them. Then you're down to 30 cents a jar, and you got a dime in a side. Now, if that don't encourage you to get out and start growing something, I mean, I can't go any further with it. You know what I'm saying? You know, you know, and listen, this is salt and a vegetable. No preservatives, no nothing. Good salt. You wonder why Granny lived to be 97. because she eats stuff like this all her life. She went out there and picked a fruit tree. I mean, how many old home places you go by that ain't got pecan trees? A pear tree sitting out there in the yard somewhere? I mean, they prepared. They put stuff out. When they moved into a house, it was tradition for a long time that you take little nest onions or something that you always had rolling around your house. And somebody moved in down there, built a little old shack back then. You know, you dig up some of them onions, you walk down there and you give them to your neighbor. And then he had them. You know, you might give him some jars or something. It just depends. You know, we've lost that in our country. And you know, on our YouTube channel, I say a simple life is a much more enjoyable life. And it is to me. I mean, it ain't got to be complicated. Just like canning vegetables. You know, there's nothing complicated about putting those peas in that jar, filling it up with hot water, put a little salt in there, put it in this canner, and then it don't matter if electricity goes out or not, you got something to eat. Let me talk about something else that just came to my mind. A normal person, you say, how much do I need to put up? Normal person would eat 2 quarts of food a day. Now, I wouldn't eat, you know, a whole quart of carrots. I might want some taters, and, you know, but that's how much it takes to sustain a normal person, okay? 2 of these a day. How many days are in a year? 365. How much is that doubled? Somebody help me. 350 and 30.
730.
You need 700 jars a year per person. Think about that. People are amazed. I tell them, we eat 2 cows, 5 hogs, all the chickens we can raise, rabbits we can raise, and fish we can catch a year.
And deer.
And deer, and we eat out some occasionally. I mean, I'm not all. It's pretty hard to be entirely self-sufficient. I mean, if you're going to raise your wheat and grind your own flour and all that, God love you. That's a lot of trouble. But simple things like this. You can take a raised bed, about big as this tabletop right here, and grow you enough carrots to last you all year. Just that simple. You know, you ain't got to have a huge, large place to grow food and grow a lot of it. You know, if you're careful, you can do vertical stuff, snap beans, grow straight up. Cucumbers, you know, a lot of those things. But, you know, there again, like these carrots, man, I think I put up close to 100 jars. And I bet you money I didn't have $5 in them. You know, in the seed and a little bit of fertilizer I use, which we compost a lot of our rabbit manure and all, and we work that into our raised beds. Let me say this to you. Meat, to me, is the easiest. I just debone the rabbit. You put it in there. Listen, all that liquid came out of that rabbit. I did not pour a drop of water in this jar. Not none. You know, and some things, you'll figure out as you go along, some things taste better if you cook them first, then put them in your jar and can it, like hamburger meat. You know, but you know, you just brown your hamburger meat, then put it in your jar and can it. And then, but I mean, literally, take some flour tortillas, cut up a tomato, some lettuce, you know, get some Perry Hill Farm salsa, you know, and you're eating a burrito in 10 minutes. You know, I wanted to keep it simple. I wanted you to say, okay, all I do is put my vegetable in the jar, put my lid ring on it, make sure you wipe the rim so nothing gets between it, okay? Put it in the canner, run its time, let it cool on its own. You're done.
Anyway, that's going to do it for us. And as Stumpy always says,
A simple life is a much more enjoyable life. God bless you.
God bless you guys.
God bless y'all. We'll see you on the next video.